When using dates in a chart, you can experience this problem. So here I'm going to insert a chart. And you'll see it looks fine, but notice this says 31st of Jan, and that's saying 1st of Jan. That's 29th of Feb. That's the 1st of Feb. The reason this is because Excel has recognized these dates and it's tried to anticipate what you want. If I want to change it, I right click on it and I'll say Format Axes. And you'll see what it's doing here is it's saying it's going to automatically check, see are you a date, and do something with it. And notice it's got a whole bunch of options here about how you want to group it. In this case I don't. I want to see exactly what's typed here, over here. So you'll see I'm going to change this and say this is a text axis. And notice now it ignores the date and it just types exactly what you want to see. In a similar vein, if I go here, so here I've got a bit more data. So again, I'm going to insert a chart. And notice we seem to have massive gaps here. I'd like to see these things right next to each other. But here, Excel has seen the dates and decided that you've got the 16th. It's going to show the 17th, the 18th, etc. all the way up till there as blank. This is not what we meant. So again, I can go right click on that axis, format axes, tell it not to automatically select it, make it text, and you'll see now you have the dates you want right next door to each other with the relevant chart. If you've created a pie chart, you can change it a bit by making all these pieces come out. There's two ways of doing it. One way is we have all of them come out. So all I'm going to do is go to the chart, right click on it, and I'm going to say Format Data Series. You'll see this pops up, and under this section is an option for pie explosion. So I can pull that out and you'll see all of them are pulled out. However, if you just want to emphasize one item, so for example this looks like the biggest, I just want to pull that one out. All you do is if you click once, you'll notice that all the slices are highlighted. If I click on that same slice again, now only that slice is highlighted. And I can click and hold and drag it out and I can emphasize it. So for example, maybe I also want to look at that one. So I've clicked, made sure it's highlighted only that slice, click, hold, drag out. So that's a nice way to explode the parts of the pie chart that you want to emphasize. Here we've created a chart, which is fine, except that because we've got a negative in April, the axis labels are actually overwriting the actual chart data, which can be a problem. But there is an easy way to fix it. So if you go to the axes, I'm going to right click on it and say Format Axes. You'll see you get all these options. So there's lots you can do with the actual axes. If we come down here where it says Labels, you'll see it says label position next to the axis. So if I can go and say go low. And what it means by low is that take those labels and put them at the lowest point. They do not overwrite. I can, if I want, also go high, so that puts it at the top, but that doesn't look as effective. So I'm going to stick on low. When using a data table in a chart, so over here, you sometimes have problems with formatting. So you'll see over here, the format has got spaces for the thousands, but for some reason here it's not. So the first thing you need to realize, I'm going to go in and format the cells. Depending on which one you use, this may or may not work. So if I go to number and I choose that one, when I say OK, you'll see suddenly it actually looks a bit better. The problem is if I want to show these in thousands, but I'm going to do it by custom formatting. So over here somewhere, I'm going to go into my format cells. And even if I use the correct ones, you'll see that's looking good. I'm going to go and format again. I'm going to customize it. I'm going to turn it into thousands by putting a space at the end there. When I say OK, you'll see it reverts to this format where it doesn't actually split it and still shows the full number. So the only way really to do it, I'm just going to undo, is to create something that turns the number into the units you want. So I've set up a formula here that takes the original number, divides it by whatever's in there. So if I change this to 1,000, you'll see it drops it and it shows it as the correct number. If I want, I can go into millions. And you'll see again, it shows it the way we want it. If you're not happy with the colors that Excel automatically comes with when creating a chart, there are a couple of options to fix it. So the first one, if you go to page layout, you'll see over here there's something called colors. Now as I hover, you'll see that the charts change colors, so that's one way, if you've got something you like here. Otherwise, right at the bottom here, it says customize colors. What this is doing is saying what the standard colors will be. So every time you create a chart, this is what will happen. First four actually to do with text. The charts are here. You can see that the color scheme goes in that order. So we can then change any one of these to perhaps your corporate colors. It only gives you 6, however. Another way to do it is you set up a chart with the colors you want. So I've chosen those colors, and you can actually do a format painter on it. So I can copy, so I've gone right click and I've said copy. I click on that one, I can say paste special, and you'll see there's an option here saying format. So when I say OK, you'll see it assumes that. So that creates, you need to have this available. Another way to do it is we can create a template. So I've created this, I can right click and you can see I can save it as template. I'm just going to call it YouTube for now. When I say save. Now when I come to a chart like this, or if we create a new one, I can go right click, change chart type, and you'll see at the top here it says templates. And there's a whole bunch of them that I've created. If we go and find the one called YouTube, if I choose that, okay, it is the same, but that is what it will look like.